Hey there, it's Kimberly here with Knit for Brains. Yay! Happy summer, happy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever day it is that you're watching this, even Saturday or Sunday. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for joining me today. So I wanted to show you what I've got going on. A couple months back, and I did a video on this, I got some of this Queensland yarn, and it's called the Queensland Collection. It is 100% pure Australian superwash wool. It's only a weight of a 2, so it's really pretty thin, but it's not too scratchy. I got this from Little Knits, and they were doing a really big sale on if you bought like the whole rainbow of colors. They had like a pre-selected package, so I went ahead and bought it. And I'm making myself a cardigan. So Pinterest is one of my best friends to get inspiration. And I found a pattern for actually it was a Free People sweater, and it's just a series of granny squares that are all different colors, and then it all ties in together with a camel color very similar to this. This is actually called Sandpiper. It's actually called Sandpiper. Again, it's a weight of 2. So I am in granny square mode, y'all. I am just making granny squares like a fool. I love making granny squares because they're so versatile. You can make them in so many different patterns and styles and colors. I'm sticking with something very, very basic on this because I'm really just wanting it to tie into the sweater. But this is the pattern. So it's just your real basic 3 double crochets in the corners, 5 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm ending on that 5th row, so it's going to have that nice beige color. So every one of these is ending in this really nice beige color. I can probably pop out, I don't know, 7, 8 of these a night. It takes maybe about a half an hour, and then I start falling asleep, so then I kind of stop. The colors that I got, and these are all this Queensland Rainbow Beach yarn, but I got this one here, and the color, let me tell you, surprise, surprise, because it's on the inside here. This color is, it's kind of a taupe color, if you will, and it is called Spruce. So I guess they consider a little bit more green in there. It's really more of like a deeper, darker kind of a thing. So I got Spruce, Sandpiper for the outside. Then I got this really pretty kind of an orange corally color, which is called Mahogany. Not in a million, y'all, would I have been calling this a mahogany. I might have got the tag wrong. Let's check and see. I'd be very surprised. Does this look mahogany to you? Am I blind? How is that even mahogany? I don't know. Hold on. We're going to keep looking here. Then I got this fuchsia, which now this is fuchsia. If there's ever anything, this is a fuchsia. Let us not be surprised here, please. This is grapeberry. I would say this looks like a nice grapeberry. Call it fuchsia, call it grapeberry, call it whatever you want. This is a really nice, I'm really enjoying working with this yarn. Again, it's called Queensland Rainbow Beach. It's only a weight of 2, so it's very, very thin. But it doesn't feel super scratchy. It almost feels just like a cotton. I think it's going to work up really nicely as a sweater. It's going to kind of mold into each other really nice. And then I've just, you know, inspiration with different colors. Let's see what else. Then I got this red. This is like fire engine candy apple red. And this was all in one particular case, so I didn't get to choose the colors. This is called Cardinal. I will buy Cardinal. I will absolutely buy that this is Cardinal. Cardinal red. I'm still shocked on the whole mahogany, y'all. I don't know. Comment below. What color do you think mahogany is? Because that is not mahogany as far as I'm concerned. And this nice pretty yellow, which is like a lemon or a sunshine or something like that. It's called Canary. I can go with that too. It's called Canary Yellow. I can absolutely buy that this is Canary. And that's it. Those are all the colors I have. Okay, I got one more of this color. Let's just double check and make sure that it really is mahogany. Yep, mahogany. Call it what you will. All right, anyways, so these are the colors that I'm working with because this is what was in that kit. So I didn't actually choose any of these colors. This is all of them. Let me hold them up for you. This is them. These are all the colors that I'm using. So these 5. And then, like I said, I'm finishing off each row, each square with this. So I am just a granny square making fool, y'all. And I said, I'm making sure that I have an equal number of all the different center colors. And then I'm just kind of going with that. So I've got all of these. And I got more. I mean, like I said, I just sit and I make them at night. And granny squares are great if you just have some scrap yarn to use up and you're really not sure what to do with it. I would almost say just like make a granny square out of it and then put it to the side. And then every time you do scraps, make a granny square and then put it off to the side. Because, you never know what you can end up doing with them. I'm making a sweater with these, but I might have some extras so I could make a corresponding scarf. Or I just got, very exciting, I am just so inspired by Pinterest. And I saw a really great granny square purse. And I thought, well, this is great. So I found this purse, what do you call it? Like a support, like an insert kind of a thing on Amazon. And it wasn't very expensive. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to build granny squares around this, use this as the structure. And it's got all the zippers and stuff inside. And then I found these. Now this was interesting because, sorry for the noise. All right, these guys are the hottest things around right now. If you look at any of the trends of purses, everyone's got this really cool little bamboo circular thing. Now, these are real bamboo. These are real wood. There's a lot that are plastic. I didn't want plastic. I wanted the real thing. So I did my research and I read the reviews, and apparently this is the bamboo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to then crochet this onto the purse, onto my pattern, and then I'm going to do the whole insert with this. So this purse is going to look kind of like this, right? It's so cool. So I'm going to make enough granny squares that I need for my sweater, and then I might get a little bit fancier with my granny square, maybe do like a floral or some kind of a mosaic in the inside as opposed to just your basic. And then that's going to be my purse. And I like that I'm going to be able to see that red pulling through from the insert. So I'm going to think about that as I'm going through, that I can definitely bring in that red because you're going to be able to see it popping through too. So this is what I'm working on today. Is my granny squares dress. It's like a cardigan pattern. So this is what I'm making. This is my inspiration right here. This is a Free People sweater that I got out of their catalog, and I went on their website. This might have been like last year's pattern. And I just loved it, but I didn't want to spend $300 for it. Now, I know you're thinking, well, by the time you put all that work into it and all the hours and stuff like that, but I don't care about that, right? I love wearing my own clothes that I make. I just didn't want to pay, and I knew that I could do it. So basically, I copied as many pictures as I could on it. This is actually made out of cotton and acrylic yarn. So mine's actually already going to be better because I'm using a superwash merino wool. And then basically I just looked at it, figured out what kind of a granny square they were using. And then I just count how many are on the front, how many are on the back. I got a really cool close-up here. What I like about this too is that these granny squares are on the diagonal. They're not just as a square, which gives it a little bit more, I think, interest to it. See here? It's all diagonals. So it's basically just a granny square this way. That's pretty simple. And it's got, the same amount of rows. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, which is exactly what I'm doing all the way across. And then there's like a little bit of a peacoat stitch down here at the bottom. And it's about it's probably down to the wrist on the sleeve. It's not a 3/4 inch sleeve. And then I'm just going to have to make some triangles, which is a half of a granny square, to finish this out. So again, this is the original. This is what I'm actually making here with all of my granny squares here. I think it's going to be so cool when it's all done. So now I just have to figure out how many granny squares I need just by counting it out. And then what I do, I have my trusty pattern book here. So anytime I see something that I'm inspired by, and I think I can actually make that, then I write down the notes in my book here. I write down, or I put at least one of the labels. This one I just used one particular color. But when I made my granny square sweater and I used all these different colors, I included them in here. And then I draw out my pattern so I know what I'm looking for, how many squares I need, what my yardage is going to be, how many I need, and so forth like that. And this way, if I ever need to go back to look at it, I can easily see, you know, what I made. Here's another sweater that I made. And then I just decide, you know, how much. This is really important too. Notice here. So I found this. These are your standard sizes for your smalls, mediums, larges, extra large, and XXLs. It tells you what those actual sizes are, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. And then it tells you the approximate bust size and the waist size. So just by having this information right here, I could do my own measurements, and then I could just create my own garments. Like, I think this particular sweater is a size small, and I would probably wear a medium on this. So I then would just increase my granny squares or whatever I needed to do to make sure that I hit the appropriate size. So this is what I'm doing this week. I've got a blanket going on, a basket weave blanket going on that I'm making for a friend of mine. This guy right here. Okay. And I'm just using a mandala tweed by Lion Brand. And so if you want to know what this basket weave stitch is, it's super simple, but it just has this really cool look. It looks way more complicated than it actually is. So I just did a tutorial on this. If you're interested in this, click through to this tutorial that I just finished, and you can see how I did this. If you're interested in learning about granny squares and how to make these, which let me tell you, these things are all the rage. I saw a Dolce & Gabbana jacket that was all granny squared out, and then they put some little bejewels and stuff. They kind of jammed it up a little bit. $3,000. Come on, people. We could easily do that for $3,000, and you don't have to have some fancy Dolce & Gabbana name on the back. You can have Williams or Bianco or McCarthy or whatever you want. You can have your name on it, make it your own designer label. But if you want a tutorial on how to make these granny squares, this is the basic granny square right here. I have a tutorial on this as well, so I'll include that in the link. So this is what I'm doing this week. I'm making granny squares, y'all. And when I get tired of making granny squares, I'm doing basket weave. And when I get tired of basket weave, I go on to granny squares. And I'm also doing the random act of kindness. I'm making little hearts and little bumblebees that I attach little cards to, and then I send out the door for that. So this is what I'm doing this week. I'm busy. I'm crocheting up a storm. Thanks so much for just hanging out and checking in. So this is my vlog, and in my vlog, I just kind of talk about, here's what's going on, right? And then I'll do my tutorials. That's a separate little playlist that you guys can see. I'm also I did a book review where I made these fun little cactuses. I did that one last week. So I've got kind of the different playlists, but my vlog is just sort of a top of mind. Here's what I'm doing this week. So stay tuned. Make sure you hit that notification button so that you get all the updates of everything that I'm doing, whether it's tutorials or book reviews or vlogs or even little shorts. I'm trying to stay busy with this YouTube channel. It's growing and growing and growing. We're almost at 1,000 friends, and I'm so excited about that. So please tell more people, tell more friends about us, about the fun that we have here, and comment below if you like anything that I'm doing or you have any questions. I'm always, as best I can, I try to get back to those questions as fast as I can. And, you know, just hang out or say, hey, what about this? I want to do a tutorial on this. Have you ever done this stitch before? How do I do it? Bring it on. I'm willing to answer any questions you've got. Thanks so much for watching. This is Kimberly again with Knit for Brains. And as always, I'll see you soon.